What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Breakdown Sportscast. I am your good friend and host, Kory Willis. Hope everyone's doing well on a Sunday. Hope everyone enjoyed their week 0 of the college football season. I know you just got a little taste of what college football has to offer in the year of our Lord 2025, Chris. But overall, I hope everyone out there enjoyed a great weekend of college football. Hope you guys are getting prepared for week 1 of the college football season. I know Chris and I are doing that as well.
We ready?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So overall, I hope you guys are enjoying your Sunday out there. As always, guys, we appreciate you all listening to the Breakdown Sportscast. You know where to find us. We're on a bevy of social media platforms out there. You can find us on X, Instagram, and TikTok, all at the BD Sportscast. If you type that in, you'll definitely find our content there, where we have YouTube Shorts, of course, and just going back over some of the things on the channel. So definitely follow us on there. You can also listen to the podcast on any of your favorite podcast applications. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and we're also on Amazon Music as well. You can just type in the Breakdown Sportscast and you'll be able to listen to current and past episodes of the show from there. And we are also, as you can tell, simulcast on Twitch and YouTube, depending on when you're listening to the show or where you're listening to the show. We're definitely on there at the Breakdown Sportscast on YouTube, and if you're on Twitch, it's going to be Breakdown Video Game Cast. That's where Chris and I are playing College Football 26, and among other things as well. Whenever we have the time to chime in with our fans as well. So overall, we appreciate you guys' support. Leave a like. Comment below if you can on the chat, or if any of our socials, of course, is definitely important for Chris and I as we are building this channel, building this community, of course. So yeah, definitely feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It's definitely important for us for the future for the show and how we can improve this show.
Yeah, hook us up. You know what I'm saying? Give us 5 stars. You know what I'm saying? Give us 5 stars and just go ahead and press the like one time. You know what I'm saying? Real quick and easy. You know what I'm saying? It don't take no time.
Exactly.
So yeah. Put us in the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That's all it is. Throw us in the algorithm. Hit that like button.
Exactly. Just like what Chris is saying. So as always, guys, we very much appreciate you guys' support with the show. As always, you know who I'm with. I'm with my good friend and co-host. He is Chris Bolton. Chris, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, nothing much, Kory. Nothing much, man. How we feeling today?
Look, I think we're feeling good. Look, we got through an interesting week 0 of college football. So, I'm good. I'm feeling good. I definitely got my fix in yesterday. I hope everyone out there at home did as well.
I threw on the Mississippi State, and this goes back to when Dan was our head coach at Mississippi State. This is one of the OG T-shirts right here. So I threw this on because I'm sure, as you saw, and we'll get into it in a little bit, UNLV fans, they got the Dan Mullen experience on Saturday. So, in honor of, barely scaping by against Idaho State, I had to go ahead and throw this bad boy on for the UNLV people out there.
Did they ever? Oh man, look, we're definitely going to get into that on today's show. It's not going to be a bevy of topics, of course. It was week 0, but we're definitely going to get into some of the biggest topics from the week that was in college football. So yeah, I knew that was an Easter egg, Chris. Well, once you once I called you in on the stream, of course, I was like, hey, it was the best of times, and it was also the worst of times. Maybe some of the UNLV teams probably thought that too. issue. I don't know what that was, but we're
Yo,
good.
you hear me? You hear me? One, two,
Yeah,
three. You got me.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
bet,
we
bet,
got
bet.
you. We
Yeah,
got
yeah.
you.
But
Maybe it was
okay.
Dan Mullen, getting upset at us.
Hey, but UNLV, they thought it was gonna be sweet. And it was anything but that.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. At the end of the day, it was nothing but that. We'll definitely get to that on today's show. So yeah. Overall, this was a interesting week 0, Chris. You want to go ahead and get to the main topic, the main story
Let's
of
do
week
it.
0? All right. Well, folks, it was a great week, of course, but we got to start off by talking about the biggest game of week 0 of the college football season, and that was Iowa State taking on Kansas State in Dublin, Ireland, Farmageddon, not on U.S. soil, but hey, that's okay. We still had a really good game at the end of the day. So yeah, these two faced off in Dublin, Ireland, Chris, and somebody had to win, somebody had to lose at the end of the day, and it was Iowa State coming out on top. 24-21 was the score at the end of the game, Chris. Iowa State, took care of business. It was ugly. I think a lot of people will agree. The game wasn't that high octane, filled with offense, as a lot of people may have wanted it to be. But hey, the defense definitely showed up for both teams. I won't lie on that.
Butterfingers too.
Yeah. The Butterfingers showed up. The defense showed up. Oh man. Look, Butterfingers should have sponsored this game. To be honest with you,
This would have been the one. You are right, boy. This would have been the one to throw that sponsorship on. Because boy, they was handing them out left and right in that first half. It was ugly.
I'm telling you, yeah, it was definitely an ugly affair if you're a person that loves offensive matchups, for sure. But overall, 24-21 was your total at the end of the game. Rocco Beck had a interesting day. 14 for 28, 183 yards with 2 touchdowns, and he had 1 rushing touchdown. His rushing stats, he carried the ball 12 times for 18 yards, and that 1 touchdown, like I mentioned. So Avery Johnson, 21 for 30, 273 yards. Threw a nice touchdown. He had a total of 2 touchdowns, Chris, but he threw a nice touchdown. It was like around the third or fourth quarter of the game. And, definitely it was getting interesting with what, he can bring to the table. And he also did have 1 rushing touchdown as well. He had 8 carries for 21 yards. So when you look at it, in the end, Chris, both of these quarterbacks, they were balling. Despite, some of the issues that they had, with the offensive line, it was just kind of breaking apart for the both of them. But, I think that they both stayed, their composure, both were pretty much level throughout the game. And, they tried to make the plays when they needed to make them. But, it definitely had to be one winner at the end, like I said, and Iowa State came out on top. So, great game. Dublin never disappoints with these week 0 games, Chris. I will say that. What were your thoughts about this performance in Dublin, Ireland?
It was a good game, entertaining game. First half, it was a week 0 game. It looked like both teams' first game of the year with all the mistakes, self-inflicted mistakes, you would say, that were being made by both teams. Muff punts, you know what I'm saying? Putting Iowa State right there in position to get the lead in the ball game. Kansas State was having their mistakes as well. The offensive lines were struggling. It was rough for the offensive lines in this one. But both teams eventually did get settled in, especially in the second half. Avery Johnson, he was inaccurate to start the game. It was some throws that I'm sure he would love to have back, but he did, finally get things together and had a good performance. But Iowa State, it's almost copy and paste to last season, Kory. Um, Last season, they always found a way to win. There were a lot of games like this where you could go back and you would say, "Man, I don't know if Iowa State should have won that one." But at the end of the day, they won. And this was the same thing in this one. It was one of those games could have easily went both ways. Um, Iowa State, at the end of the day, made enough plays to win. Rocco Beck wasn't pretty, but he made enough plays, accounted for all the scores that they had with touchdowns, all three touchdowns, whether it was rushing or passing. When they needed to get a first down, the offensive line, let them hang. They dropped them and pushed Kansas State back, and they got first downs. Essentially could have scored another touchdown to really put it out of reach at the end of the game. So credit to Iowa State. There was a play I feel like that's a little controversial that I will just bring up because the fact that Avery Johnson on that fourth down run, I think he had got enough for the yardage despite the spot they gave him, but also I think there was a targeting on that fourth down run that was late in the ball game, Kory, and they didn't review it for targeting. That surprised me.
Yeah, I think that was one of the most interesting, developments, Chris, is that I thought that they were going to look at that as a potential targeting, foul, penalty, but nothing ever came out of it. And, it was just business as usual. So, and I think you can tell Avery Johnson was kind of like, it was like that hesitation. It was like, where's the, where's the
Yeah.
penalty at on this?
No, it was clear helmet to helmet. If not,
Yeah.
if not a targeting, it was definitely helmet to helmet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the guy launched himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm with Avery on that one. I really expected, and I've seen far more egregious targeting calls where it's like, hold on, we really calling this targeting? So for something like that to not even get reviewed or talked about in the broadcast or anything really surprised me.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Kansas State's not going to be like, that's why we lost. Because there were other plays that went into this game that I feel like, they just didn't take advantage of and didn't come away with the victory. But yeah, credit to Iowa State though. They found a way to win like they did last season. That's really what this game kind of sums up to. It's just a copy and paste of their formula from last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, Chris. Yeah, it's definitely copy and paste for sure. And they, I got to give my hats off to, Iowa State, of course. And, they definitely, played a hard-nosed game. Both teams did at the end. And like I said, it had to be a one winner in this. And, Rocco Beck, he definitely made the necessary plays when he needed to win this game. And look, he didn't do it all on his own. I think Carson Hansen, hey, that guy was definitely being a linchpin in this W that they got on yesterday. So I think he definitely paid dividends and getting them to win this ball game. And they leaned on their rushing game. They leaned on the players that they had offensively to make the necessary plays to score the points that they needed. And hey, just hats off to them. I think it was a really good performance, and we'll see what happens next. Of course, I know a lot of people were looking at this game as like, oh yeah, this is, and it is very much Big 12 implications with this game because these were two ranked Big 12 teams going head to head in week 0. So, this was a good first step for Iowa State, but, I wouldn't count out Kansas State at all. There's so much football left to be played. And, a team like a team like Kansas State with a quarterback like Avery Johnson and all of the players that they have at their disposal, sky's the limit with them. I think they just fell short, and hey, if they can take what they learned from this game and apply it to the rest of the football season, things could get very interesting in the Big 12 in general. It's just these two. I mean, we still got to talk about Texas Tech,
Sure.
Colorado, Utah,
Baylor,
BYU,
Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas. We'll talk about them in a little while. Like this thing is wide open as we've ever seen the Big 12, and even last year was very interesting. But I think this year is it has the potential to top last year.
Yeah, Kory, we've been watching college football for a minute, especially Big 12 football. It's never over, even until week 15. This bad boy, it will still be wide open. This is just the beginning. This is week 0. It ain't even week 1. So yeah, Kansas State there's plenty of ball left to be played. They can bounce back from this conference loss because I'll tell you right now, ain't nobody going undefeated in Big 12 conference play. Let's just go ahead and put that out there. Nobody will be unscathed in this league.
No, I don't think so either. I think what we're looking at is probably shades of what we're gonna see in the SEC and probably even in the Big 10 conference. I think all of those teams, they're gonna be beating up on each other as well. So that's what makes this fun. Of course, we got a little taste of what college football looks like in week 0, and we got a little taste of in particular what the Big 12 looks like this season. So I'm excited. Hats off to Iowa State. Hats off to Rocco Beck. Hats off to Avery Johnson. Both of these teams, both of these quarterbacks played a remarkable game, and showed us why we've been waiting for a week like week 0 for the last several months.
Yeah. No. So it's showtime, baby. We're off and rolling now, Kory.
Yes, we are. We are off and rolling. So yeah, man. Anything else you'd like to add to Farmageddon in Dublin, Ireland, Chris, before we move on to our other games?
Nah, nothing else to add to this one. It was Farmageddon. You know what I'm saying? It was everything we thought it would be, and some a little bit.
Yes, it definitely was, and we'll definitely see how both of these teams fare throughout the rest of the football season. So yeah. All right. Well, from Dublin, Ireland, Chris, we will now head to our next game of week 0. Idaho State taking on UNLV, Chris. Well, it was like UNLV was like a 30.5 point favorite, I think, to win the ball game. We said on the last show. Well,
that
did not happen. Idaho State came to Las Vegas, lost the game by 1 possession. 38-31 was your total in this ball game. UNLV came out with the W. I don't know what to say, Chris. I thought they had it nipped in the bud. I thought the debut of Dan Mullen would be painless and out comes the Mullinator, grinding out football games like he always does. And it wasn't pretty, but they got the W.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they got the win. fun game.
Yes.
I will say UNLV they left several points on the board though, on the field. You had Orgy when he was about to cross the goal line,
Mm-hmm.
rush in for a touchdown to start the game, fumbled. Idaho State recovers it. The missed field goal, just the turnovers. It was a struggle for UNLV to get things rolling initially. And Idaho State, they were moving the ball down the field. Boy, they exposed UNLV's defense, Kory.
Yeah,
They exposed them.
they did.
So they got some things to tighten up this week.
Absolutely. Yeah, it definitely shocked me with the way Idaho State was running the football. I mean, their running back, he was he was electric. I was very much
He was tearing
surprised
them
with
up.
what I saw. I know. I know. I think Dason Brooks, I believe. This guy was balling. Yeah, 18 carries, 132 yards, and 2 touchdowns. As long as of the day was a 27-yard run. So yeah, they were they were carving up that defense from UNLV. So that was a shocker to me. So hey, yeah, they're definitely gonna have to clean that up, Chris, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because if you're UNLV and you got to take on a team like Boise State this season, I don't think you're going to want to go in playing against a team like Boise State or any team with a defense like that.
No, no. Yeah, you're going to have to get it together. So, there's a lot of work to do. Definitely got to hit the drawing board. But like I said to start the show, Kory, that's the Dan Mullen special for
It's
you,
the
baby.
Dan Mullen special.
Big favorites. Everybody hyped up, and next thing you know, you in a dog fight. So we'll see how this season goes. But I'll tell you one thing: it's going to be fun to watch from the outside looking in. To have no emotional investment like we do with Mississippi State. Just sit back and watch Dan Mullen do what he does at UNLV in Vegas. Oh, this is gonna be a movie. I'm tuned in.
You got your popcorn ready?
Oh man, it's been ready. It's been popped. Got the
Hey,
butter and everything.
hey, there you go. There you go. It's nothing like watching a good Dan Mullen special. With your popcorn ready, and you got your
And,
booze and you got your soda, whatever you got.
hmm
Because it's gonna make
we
it
say
interesting.
all this. We say all this, and the next thing you know, Boise State and UNLV might be game of the year. Because it's going to end up being a great one. That's when UNLV will play up to their potential.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's definitely gonna be one we're gonna have to eye throughout the season. That's gonna be one of those early or mid-season Bolton's bets, because I think they play in the middle of the season.
Yeah, they do play in the middle of the season. So yeah, we'll definitely be tuned in for that.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't
Yes,
know if
sir.
it's gonna make both bets because that's that game. You don't want to put your money in the hands of Dan Mullen. So we'll see how everything goes.
No. You learn after so long, and maybe that's something that you don't that you don't invest in. Just
Hmm.
just letting the good folks know out there. So yeah. I think yeah, they got the win, did what they needed to do to get the victory, but definitely a lot of work that needs to be done over there in Vegas with Dan Mullen at the helm over there. So we'll definitely see what happens with the Rebels going forward. But I thought that was an interesting thing that happened in that game.
Yeah. No, we'll definitely keep our eyes peeled and see what they do this year. But yeah, it was a fun one.
Yeah,
It was a good one to get the season started.
exactly. So yeah. Anything else you'd like to add to this game, Chris, before we move on?
No sir.
All right. moving along, folks. Of course, definitely feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the show. If you're watching it live on our YouTube or Twitch simulcast, definitely important for us. And yeah, definitely chime in to this great community that we have here and beyond. So, yeah. So moving along,
Yeah,
Chris.
drop the comments. Drop the comments. We need the
Exactly.
comments. Tell us
Yeah.
what y'all think.
Yeah. We want to know what your favorite game of week 0 was. So yeah, definitely let us know what you're excited about for week 1 as well. So yeah. So moving along, Chris, we got Fresno State going to Kansas. Kansas won this game in a wide margin. They took care of business. 31-7 was your score. Final score at the end. Kansas won. Topped Fresno State, the Bulldogs. Took care of business. So yeah, a great return to see Jalen Daniels play really good football. And hey, I gotta give a shout out to that offensive line from Kansas. They were creating holes for their running back to be very successful on Saturday. And boy, did they ever run into football. They ran the ball. They had 38 carries, 270 yards, and a touchdown. So they tossed the rock to a bevy of running backs. They handed it to a lot of those running backs for Kansas, and hey, they look good. You lose Devin Neal to the NFL. We're gonna see what he does for the Saints this season. I can't wait to watch him. He's an electric football player. But yeah, Kansas showed pretty much that their strength is running the football, and that they have a bevy of running backs in that locker room, Chris. So, what were your thoughts about Kansas controlling this football game against Fresno State?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised at all. We highlighted Kansas in the preseason as a sleeper team to look out for in the Big 12. That a post-hype sleeper, since they were so hyped up for the 2024 season last year. But we'll see how things go this year. So I think Kansas is locked in. This is who Kansas will be. This is who they are. They will be a power team. They want to run the football. You might get Jalen Daniels making some plays with his arm and legs when needed, but at the end of the day, they want to make this as easy as possible on him. And so they want to punch you in the throat, punch you in the face, run the ball down your throat, and that's what they'll do. So I'm not surprised. I think Kansas is a team to keep your eyes on this season in the Big 12. We always talk about someone just out of nowhere comes up and can win the conference. That league is wide open. So I wouldn't be shocked if they make noise, especially when you look at how they finished last season. They found their momentum. You know what I'm saying? They got settled in at the end of last year, Kory. They had that big win against Colorado. So this is kind of some of that momentum that you built up to end last season rolling into this year, especially when you bring back your quarterback. So I think they're set to have a big year. So don't be surprised if they turn some heads, beat a couple teams that you might not necessarily expect them to beat. But I think Kansas is a team to keep our eyes on.
Absolutely, I think they had a really good showing against Fresno State. I mean, granted, it's Fresno State, but they're not too much of a slouch. They have had pretty good seasons before. But yeah, just like what you said, I think they have all the potential in the world, Chris, to become one of those dark horse teams in the Big 12 conference. If they can lean to the talents that they have, I think they have a bevy of running backs, of course, that can get them there. I think they do have some pretty decent players outside at receiver as well. I think they'll be just fine. I think they'll be in the mix of being one of those teams that could potentially knock off some of the higher tier teams in the Big 12, and if so,
Hmm.
they can definitely creep up on you in any given time. I think, which is the interesting
Yeah.
thing. So,
No, no, you're right. You're right. And I think at this point, that's all you want to kind of be if you're Kansas. You want to just take care of business. You focus on getting the win. See if you can be right there in the mix, putting yourself in position to maybe surprise and just go from there. No expectations. We're just gonna play ball week by week, game by game,
mhm.
and then let the cards play out as they may. So we'll see how everything unfolds for them this season.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Chris. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what this Kansas squad does this season. But so far, I like what I saw yesterday. I think they look like a well-oiled machine in that backfield running the football.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that offensive line, boy, they eating good today. They ate good yesterday, and they will continue to eat good. I'm sure they got a good meal. They got what taken care of, and they gonna make sure the boys continue to eat good with the way they are blocking,
Oh yeah,
uh, with that performance they put on, like you said on Saturday.
oh yeah, oh yeah. And look, you gotta look. You've renovated that nice stadium that they have. That'll definitely put some butts in some seats. Seeing some performances
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that more week in and week out.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know how the people in Kansas they respect some good old school hard nosed football.
Exactly.
I would say that's the Kansas way, if
Hmm.
I'm not mistaken, Corey. So
Yeah.
I'm sure the people will be in the stadium, showing support as long as the team continues to play like they did on Saturday.
Exactly. I agree. Definitely agree with you there, Chris. So yeah, we'll definitely see what happens with Kansas moving along this season. But like I said, I like what I saw, and I know you did as well. And yeah, we'll definitely be keeping our eyes on the Jayhawks this season.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, all ready to move on to the next game. Anything else you want to add to this game before we move on?
No, sir. We're good to
All
go.
right. All right. All right. We're moving along on the show here. All right. So now we're about to head to Western Kentucky, Chris, where Western
Mhm.
Kentucky hosted Sam Houston State on yesterday.
The
Won,
tops.
yeah, Hilltoppers won this game in another decent margin. 41-24 was your score in that ball game. Western Kentucky came out on top. Our guy Maverick, we talked about Maverick MacGyver, had a monster day, Chris. I mean, this guy was slanging the rock, 33 for 51, 401 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. QBR was at 72.2% in this ball game. So, look, he was just having a field day. He was just calling numbers yesterday. That's all it was.
Yeah, nah, whoever it's your turn. All right, let me get you the ball. Okay, now it's your turn. I'm gonna throw it to you. So yeah, nah, he was having his way on Saturday. So yeah, I think Maverick, man, he's somebody we should keep our eyes on as just a sneaky candidate to maybe lead the nation in passing yards. You
Yeah.
know that offense, man. That's what they do. They they get up and down. They score points at Western Kentucky. The offense is always on display. Um, so I think he's somebody that could potentially, have a huge year this year for the Hilltoppers. So I got my eyes peeled on Maverick and that offense and what they'll be doing this season. But they took care of business. I think they did what they were supposed to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And hey, when you're in those, G5 schools, of course, look, you got to do that. You got to make sure you handle business um, week in and week out, because the media is definitely looking at you with multiple microscopes. in terms of seeing, who you beat. How did you beat them? Do you have this personnel that can match up with other teams around the country? They're looking at all that stuff. So I think a team like Western Kentucky that knows what they have, and look, they've been knowing that for some years now that they have really good teams, but this team looks like it's very special. So I'm interested in what I saw.
Yeah, yeah. No, I am too. I think they'll make some noise this year. And yeah, it's kind of like with Kansas. We'll keep our eyes out on Western Kentucky because they are a team that could maybe make some shake out there in the G5. And they have the offense to do so. And in the G5, if you can put up points, you can beat anybody nowadays.
Absolutely, and I think that's the Western Kentucky way. Look, they're looking at maximizing their point total week in and week out. Who we got to play against this week? Okay, let's see if we can up the ante on that. 41 points.
Right.
Let's go for 51 points. Let's go for 61 points.
I have a 60-point game.
Oh, they'll definitely do it. They'll definitely do it.
You ain't got to worry about that. They'll hit 60 at some point.
I won't worry about these guys. They're pretty efficient. Look, we saw what Bailey Zappi did a couple years ago. Like, Bailey Zappi, he was one of the most electric college football players at the quarterback position that wasn't on a G5 team. So, hey, I think this team, they, like I said, they know what they got. They know what Maverick brings to the table for this offense, and hey, they're just looking at maximizing it.
Exactly, for sure.
So yeah, but good showing for Western Kentucky, and yeah, we'll definitely see what happens with the Hilltoppers throughout the season. So
yeah. I don't got nothing else to say about this one. We said come into it, Hilltoppers will put up points, and that's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We knew it was going to go down with this one.
Yeah.
It's I think the next game that was quite interesting.
Yes, and we will go to it now, folks. Stanford taking on Hawaii in Hawaii. This game was interesting. Chris has his thoughts about the game. I'm gonna go ahead and let him discuss a little bit more. I only saw like the ending of it, but I gotta say, Chris, sounds like this game wasn't as favorable as what we had hoped it was going to be in terms of Stanford's case.
Yeah, for Stanford. Boy, I think Andrew Luck was ready to take off the headset and throw some pads on and see if he had some eligibility of some form based on the COVID rules out here, because the quarterback who was out there for Stanford, terrible, boof, stank, egregious. It was some of the worst quarterback play I have ever seen, Kory. The fact that they had 20 points, was right there with a chance to win the game, is a testament to Stanford's team, because the quarterback did them no favors. He was terrible, and he's a sixth-year QB, sixth-year starter.
That's unfortunate.
But
6
He
years.
need to go ahead and he might as well get a job. He ain't gonna last as a starting quarterback the rest of the season, Kory. He ain't. I'll tell you that right now. He's not going to last. He's not going to make it. They will make a change by week 4 or 5 if this keeps on, because it was bad. This was bad.
Look, I mean, you lose. The thing about it is, you lose 23-20. You lose by 3 points. It's kind of amazing that you have that bad of quarterback play, and you still only lose by 3 points. That's how you know something's gonna be changed sooner rather than later.
Can you crack 200 yards for me? I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, do you have the final box score for the
Ye-
final stats?
yes.
Go ahead and let the good people know what his stat line was.
So, if I'm saying his name correctly, Ben Goldbranson from Stanford. Um, his stats from the game, he was 15 for 30, 109 yards, one interception. Listen to this QBR rating. The one from Hawaii isn't that great either, but let's just go ahead and say 13.2 from Ben
15
Goldbranson
for 30, 109 yards.
with a 13.2 QBR.
They've been better off running the Wildcat all game. You know how like some high schools, you like they've been better off running the West Point offense. Power left, power right, blast. That's the plays. That's what you run at West Point. You got about 5, 6 plays you run, truthfully, and they would have been better off running that with their
Yeah.
running back. Because why am I starting you at QB if you are going to give me 109 passing yards in a 60-minute game?
Excellent point. I mean, when you look at these stats, I don't think that's something I would want my quarterback going out there, winning me ball games week in and week out, saying that's what I can do. I
And
think
that's what we're doing against Hawaii.
Yeah.
What you gonna do when you going against what? So this ain't Colt Brennan's Hawaii team. You know what I'm
No.
saying? This is 2025 Hawaii. And that's what you're doing.
Yeah. I think we made a grave mistake in the quarterback room, potentially. We're getting things, prepared for this season. To be honest with you, I don't even think we prepared anything. I think that's, I think this is what we got, and I think we need to make a decision fairly quickly, or else this thing can fall very quickly.
And the thing about it is, I feel like on defense, Stanford is respectable.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a respectable team, but when your quarterback is that bad, no matter how respectable you are, eventually the dam is going to break, and people will put it on you pretty badly. If you're out here getting 3 and outs, can't get anything going on offense, QB can't make a play. I don't think it's going to be a fun season for the Andrew Luck out there with the Cardinals, Kory. I think my boy he'll be feeling stressed out like he was behind that offensive line that made him say, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm gonna retire. I think he's gonna get those feelings because this ain't gonna be fun at all.
Which would definitely suck because people idolize Andrew Luck at that school. I mean he's one of the reasons why people looked at Stanford much more with a serious eye, with a serious tone when it came to Stanford football. He was that guy, and seeing his school perform like this week in and week out, especially at the quarterback position. It's definitely different. And look, we understand that it's different to recruit at Stanford. There's definitely a different level of a player that you have to analyze and recruit for that program. But hey, I won't give them too many excuses because look what Vanderbilt is doing. I look at Vanderbilt as like the Stanford of the SEC.
Yeah.
So at some point, something has to give, and you got to bring in some better talent in the program if you want to compete.
Yeah.
Or get left behind. I don't know. So it sucks, man. It sucks, but hey, we don't get paid the big bucks to make those decisions, of course. Ultimately, coaches, and athletic officials have to, pony up, as they say, in terms of.
Oh man, not the Mark Stoops, the Mark Stoops reference. Oh man, things ain't never been the same at Kentucky since Mark Stoops said the pony up.
I wasn't originally going for that, but I can definitely lean into that though.
Oh man, anybody who's a Kentucky fan watching this, they chest caved in when they heard those words "pony up."
Oh man,
because ever since then, boy, it's gone downhill for the Wildcats.
Yeah. Well,
but that is what Stanford needs to do. They need to pony up. You're right.
Yeah. That's my only thing. Yeah, you don't want to get left behind. When you're Stanford, and you are a prestigious school. You're right in the thick of Silicon Valley, of course. I'm sure you can use the resources that you have to become a better football team. And, I think having a better Stanford football team is good for college football because, look, we saw that during the Andrew Luck years of what that program was like when they had a really good football team, competitive football team. So, yeah, I mean, does Andrew Luck want that? I'm sure he does. But, they're going to have to figure it out sooner rather than later because you don't want to have another situation where things can fall off the rails, and here you are again wondering, how we can get back to the way that we used to. That's all I'm saying. So.
Yeah, no, you're right. So
it's interesting.
We'll see how things play out for them going forward, but doesn't look like it's going to be a fun year to be a Stanford Cardinal fan, Kory. Let's go ahead and just keeping it a buck, keeping it stacked.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, partner. But hey, like I said, we're not the ones that make those big decisions. So hopefully we'll see some things change with Stanford. As the season progresses, and who knows, maybe there is someone at the quarterback position that can potentially be, give off that savior factor that the guys need. So hey, if you're a Stanford Cardinal fan, keep your fingers crossed that you can make right of this season.
For sure. One real quick too, we got to show love to the kicker for Hawaii.
Yeah,
my boy, the Japanese kicker.
Yeah.
My man learned how to kick from watching YouTube, Kory. Watching YouTube video. He said, you know what? Let me get us a try. This ain't too hard. Hey, my boy, next thing you know, he out here on the Hawaii's football team and went 3 for 3 in the game with the game-winning field goal kick as well. So, hey, shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? Look at YouTube out here changing people's lives. Boy out here, a whole kicker for Hawaii's football program now after just watching YouTube. Hey, that's 2025 for you, ain't it?
Yeah, yes it is. Yes it is. Mr. Kanzai Matsuzawa, 3 for 3. His longest of the game was a 40-yarder. And
that's respectable.
Yeah, that's respectable. Hey, look, that'll get you on the NFL team.
If he mess around and be all conference, you know what I'm saying, and keep kicking like he's doing now, hey, don't be surprised if he ends up getting the call. I can see it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you, man. Like I said, hey, you keep kicking like that, the NFL might be at your doorstep.
The game winner was a no doubter.
Yeah,
I mean he would have made that from 50. It was a no doubter. So yeah, he seems like he's got the goods.
Yeah. Definitely out there. If you're an NFL scout, of course, take a look at this guy. You give him a shot. That's all I gotta say. I love good kicking. I think anyone loves good kicking in football. When you see some good kicking, can't go wrong with that.
I like good kicking too, because we got our boy with the Jags. He made, was that like a 70-yarder this preseason? That kick was crazy.
That kick was insane.
and it don't count because it's in the preseason. But he will get a chance. You know
Yes.
he'll get a chance in the
Oh yeah.
regular season to make a kick like that before halftime.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
Best believe.
But yeah, I love a good kicking too. I just don't want kicking in my fantasy football leagues. I feel like kickers should not be a part of fantasy football, but just in football in general, as sit back watching the games. I appreciate the art of good kicking. Just leave it out of fantasy football. That's all. That's all.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Definitely interesting. With what we saw, in week 0 of the college football season. Just like we mentioned, just a little appetizer for college football fans out there. I enjoyed week 0. I know you guys out there did, and here we are. We're heading towards week 1 of the college football season, Chris. Got some big games coming up.
Training. Euro. It was the pre-workout. Hey, this was the pre-workout for the workout, and then now we're about to have the workout before the pre-Euro training workout, and then it's gonna be Euro training, and then, saying we off and rolling. But this was the little pre-workout though, so we getting there.
Exactly, man. So yeah, very interesting week 0, Chris. I will say this: we didn't fully prepare. We'll do it next week. On our week 1 results show. Our chief of the week of week 0. Who's your chief of the week of week 0?
Man, I feel like it's got to be Maverick. Maverick McIver, Western Kentucky quarterback, 401 yards, 3 TDs. He held it down. He did what he's supposed to do as the general. You know what I'm saying? The QB for the Hilltoppers. He just flowed right on into the system and balled out. So, shout out to him for a big week 0. And I anticipate him to continue to sling it around the field and have a big year.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he'll tell you that's my intentions. That's what I'm going to do. And watch me next week as I double my touchdown total.
Right, definitely. Yeah, he's definitely gonna try to go for 6 of them things.
Oh yeah. Best believe he definitely will. North Alabama, he's coming for you.
Oh, North Alabama, that's tough.
Yeah.
UNA. Oh man.
So
I feel
good
bad
luck,
for people at UNA. Yeah, man.
Good luck, North Alabama. No, it won't. It won't be. It will not be. But yeah, that's a great pick. That's definitely a great pick for me. I'm gonna. I'm just gonna have to go ahead and go with Rocco Beck. I'll stick with my first initial pick, Rocco Beck. He had a really great game. Despite the offensive struggles with the offensive line, just his poise, of course, is top notch. And when they needed to make the plays that they needed to make, Chris, to win that ball game in Dublin, he was there. He was right there at the end, and hey, his performance shows why he is one of the best quarterbacks potentially coming out, for the NFL draft, or will be coming out. But just in terms of all of the quarterbacks in college football this year, he's definitely a Heisman finalist through and through. If he keeps playing like that, and if Iowa State can have a really good season, I think he has everything in front of him in order to be in New York near the end of the season. So hats off to him.
Yeah. No, he's a winner.
Mm-hmm.
He's a winner. So definitely shout out to him, and we'll keep our eyes on Iowa State. It seems like they still got some magic left over from last season. in this season. So as
Indeed.
long as he's at QB, they'll have a chance.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. So yeah, hats off to Rocco Beck. Hats off to Maverick McIver. There are they are both our chief of the week in week 0 of the college football season. And hats off to everyone out there. Heading towards week 1, and you know people in week 0 that we got a chance to see. This is gonna be a long season, but it's great that college football is back. We get to watch more college football, and this is why the games are played at the end of the day, Chris. So we'll definitely see what happens this season, but I'm just excited, man.
I am too. I am too. So this man, it's going to be quite interesting. There's so many ways, twists and turns this season can take. So many twists and turns week 1 can take.
Yes,
Off the rip, Kory.
off the rip.
Ohio State and Texas. Bam! That's how we start in week 1. Just at noon, big noon kickoff, just like that.
It's gonna be something else, man. It's definitely gonna be something else. I can't wait for that game. It's gonna be something. It's gonna be just a barn burner. We know it's gonna be.
I'm sure you probably. I don't think you feel the tension yet. Do you feel the excitement? Like, or you think it's gonna crank up to another level this week? Because you live out in Austin, so like you. Do you think it'll ramp up this week now that we're officially in week 1?
I think that I think by midweek, and you can already kind of feel it a little bit in the air that it's football season. Texas taking on Ohio State. I'm gonna say like by Tuesday or Wednesday, you're really gonna start feeling that fandom, that atmosphere of like college football is here. It's time for the Arch Manning era to take place. It's already started to feel like that, but you're really gonna feel it. I think I'm really gonna see it maximize times 100 by the middle of the week, because at that point people are already going to be halfway throughout the week. They already have probably their weekend set up in the way that they want it to be. And that's when you're really going to hear more people get ready for this game. So I'm excited, man. Like, people have been waiting for this moment. They've been waiting to see Arch Manning perform.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah, he's got the keys now.
Yeah. Not just go out there and perform, but to be the guy. Last year, Quinn Ewers, was finishing up his senior year before heading to the NFL. Now, Arch Manning is the guy, and this is his team that he controls now. There's no one, in front of him, making him, have to, trail behind. This is his team. Steve Sarkisian has picked him for this moment, has, prepped him and the rest of his 4 and 5 stars that they've cultivated over there at UT. It's a big moment for him. So I'm ready for that game, man. I think it's going to be amazing. Baylor, Auburn. It's going to be amazing. We're gonna have to set up a watch party for that one, Chris.
Oh, that's gonna be lit for sure.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to do that just because I think that's gonna be a game of huge magnitude that I think a lot of fans are gonna want to watch. And I know we're gonna want to watch and talk about too. So, so yeah. But yeah, man, week 1, we're here. This is game week, Chris, for everybody else.
Game week. Yeah. Hey, everybody's in the film room getting right. Last few last couple of days of practice, and you get ready to just do one last little walkthrough, and it's on and popping. Next thing you know, it's
Absolutely.
Saturday. It's game day.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. I love it. Then this is why we watch the games, and we get ready to talk about the games on here. It's gonna be amazing, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'm
yeah, man.
I'm hyped. I'm ready.
Yeah, I know you are, man. I know you are, and I know people out there are as well. I'm looking at the chats right now. I see ATX Boss Hog. Yes, I know you, my brother. I'm glad that you're here looking at us on Twitch. And ATX Boss Hog says, Chris, this Ohio State game will show us who Arch is as a quarterback. I agree. I
Oh
definitely
yeah.
agree.
We will get some questions answered quickly and in a hurry in this one. Go to Ohio State, and you get a win on the road and against a team like this. As talented as Ohio State is, hey, that's big time right there, Kory. So we
Yeah,
will get some answers quick and in a hurry.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, man, yeah, this is gonna be an interesting week for sure. I can't wait to watch Texas take on Ohio State, taking them on in Columbus. It don't get no better than that.
Yeah, yeah. Now you at the shoe. Then we got Clemson, LSU. Tiger on Tiger crime. That's going to be crazy too. I mean, it's plenty of games, man. This whole weekend is filled with them.
Yeah,
So, hey, hope y'all ain't got no plans. It's gonna be some angry people watching their significant others maybe sit down in front of the couch for 10 hours on Saturday, 'cause that's what it's gearing up to look like.
well, look, each year you gotta prime and prep your loved ones to get ready for weeks like this. You just gotta let them know, like, look, when you got Texas, Ohio State on the TV screen, like, look, this moment right here, I am delegated to my chair,
Hey, I'm,
to
I'm
my
gonna tell y'all
beer.
right now, it's gonna be a lot of fellas at brunch the next day on Sunday. If they want to have a good Saturday, you gonna have, it's gonna be some give and take to it. So we'll see a lot of fellas out at brunch on Sunday. Trying to make up for that Saturday where they was on the couch all day.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it comes with the territory. You know what I'm
Gotta do what you gotta do.
saying? Gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta do what you gotta do. Oh man, but yeah, yeah. Before we get out of here, yeah, ATX Boss Hall also says, Chris, Ohio State's defense may be the second best in the nation behind Texas. I think you're also right as well. I mean, there's a lot of great defenses out there, but knowing about what we've seen from Ohio State, what they got returning offensively and defensively, we'll see. We'll see.
We will see.
Yeah.
They have a lot of talent. They have a lot of talent. It's kind of like those prime Alabama years where you knew Bama's defense would be raw, but you needed to kind of see. And then it got to a point where you just expected them to be like, yeah, yeah. Even though they lost all these guys last year, we know Bama's defense is going to be on point. I'm curious to see how Ohio State's defense is this year, because I know it's loaded with talent, but there was a lot of guys that went on to the league last year, so they definitely have the talent. Just like we're gonna get the answers with Arch, we'll get some answers with Ohio State's defense too, if they are the real deal like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look, this show and tell starting this week.
They just put up or shut up.
Yeah, yeah.
It's game time. We've been doing all this talking, for the last 6 months. It's time for some answers, like Boss Hog said.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate you chiming in ATX Boss Hall, of course, is definitely going to be fun. Watching this game and among others coming up in week 1 of the college football season. But yeah, Chris, a great episode, great games of week 0, and yeah, we'll definitely be back here talking about week 1 and giving our predictions later on in the week. So you'll probably see us be back on our regular schedule on our Thursdays where we usually do our predictions. So Chris and I will definitely kind of discuss that in times, and we'll let you good folks know on when to follow and prepare for our next episode. So
Yes, sir.
but yeah, Chris, before we head out of here, got some outros. Let the good people know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah. So you can find me on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Chris_Bolton_12. I'm gonna still call it Twitter because that's our era. I don't like this X stuff. It's forever Twitter in my heart.
Just call it his government name.
I'm gonna call him what your mama named you. Your mama named him Twitter, so I'm gonna call him Twitter.
There you go.
And then on Instagram at Chris .Bolton_. Holla at your boy.
Nice. And yeah, folks, you can follow me on Twitter as well. Twitter X, whatever you want to call it. At Listen to KSW, all one handle. I'm on there talking college football, of course. We're knee deep in that now. And yeah, professional wrestling, whole 9. Video game news, anything that I want to discuss, definitely chime in with me on there. But yeah, we appreciate you guys following the show, of course. We've seen some people come in, of course, following us on the show. Definitely follow us on our social media channels. We're on X, Instagram, TikTok, at BD Sportscast. You can type in the BD Sportscast and follow us there. If you want to listen to the podcast version of the Breakdown Sportscast, of course, we always upload our podcast usually the day after, depending on when we do our live streams. We plan on doing more of those of the show, but yeah, we usually post those shortly afterwards, 24-hour window. Just find the Breakdown Sportscast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, whichever you prefer, and you can find the show there. And we appreciate you guys chiming in with us on our simulcast streams as well, through our YouTube channel at the Breakdown Sportscast on YouTube, and Breakdown Video Game Cast as well. You can find us on there. So as always, guys, we appreciate you guys listening to the show. But we'll be back with another episode, presumably on Thursday. So we'll definitely let you guys know. But until next time, I'm Kory Willis. He's Chris Bolton. You are listening to the Breakdown Sportscast. We will chat with y'all later. Peace.